Howdy and welcome to the Confidence Through Health podcast. I'm Jerry Snyder. As an elite level athlete, owner of All In Health and Wellness, and author of the book Confidence Through Health, my goal is to help you achieve your goals and dreams using health as the conduit to get there. So I want to take a minute to thank our sponsor for this episode, Luna Juice Bar. If you are in the Waco area, stop by Luna Juice Bar or check out their food truck at the Magnolia Silos for your healthy food, your juice, your smoothies, everything that you need to get your body heading in the right direction from a nutrition standpoint. Check out Luna Juice Bar. The link is on my website, confidencethroughhealth.com, or you can go to lunajuicebar.com to look at the menu and order online as well. So thank you to our sponsor, Luna Juice Bar. Howdy and welcome to the Confidence Through Health podcast. This is episode 106. And what I want to talk about today is, well, the difference between the Olympics and other sports. And specifically the sport of track and field, because that gets a lot of airplay during the Olympics. And it's a sport that I'm really most familiar with as I competed in it in college and still compete today and coach today in track. But there's a correlation between, and everybody likes to compare track to other sports because of the running aspect. And are track athletes truly faster than, American football players or, soccer or slash football as the rest of the world knows it? Are they faster than, or can they jump higher than basketball players? Can they jump? Can they throw farther than? Are they stronger than offensive linemen? All these things that come into play. Who throws farther? A javelin thrower or a baseball player. And while obviously you have to measure that based on what item you're throwing or the distance you're measuring as far as running or jumping, or all those things need to be the same across the board to compare. And really the only thing that we've had, at least that I can think of in my lifetime, that has been anywhere close to being a competitive and fair comparison of all was back when we used to have those competitions where they would actually take the athletes and put them all together from all different sports and have them go through a bunch of different activities and athletic activities, and then finish with an obstacle course. And, that was back in the 80s and 90s. Hasn't been around since then. I think it would be a great thing to come back. But most athletes nowadays won't do it because in those days it was during the off season, and now there's not really much of an off season. But back to the comparison question, you get a lot of people that'll argue, especially sports fans, that their sport is has the most athletic people, needs the most athleticism, has the fastest people, the strongest people, whatever the case may be, they're going to argue for their sport. And I totally get that. The thing you have to think about, though, is that each sport you're training, especially nowadays, because it's become so specialized at the elite level, at the professional level, that they are training specifically to do those specific movements. So how to take a lead off of first base. They're training specifically how to take that and move those 90 feet to steal second base. It's how to hit a baseball. It's how to throw a football or how to catch a football, how to make a cut on a dime with a football in your hand, with pads, with a helmet. It's how to control the soccer ball, how to run while you're dribbling the soccer ball. All these things that are training, the training is done all year round nowadays. And even the weightlifting is very specific to the muscles that are involved and needed for the specific sport, which is why, side note, we got a lot of injuries in youth that are trying to specialize in a specific sport because their bodies are not built yet to withstand that kind of specialized training. So avoid that for the youth. But back to superstars, the professionals, the adults that are doing it full time. It's their job. It's their life. It's everything to them. You can't really compare those people from different sports because their bodies are built for different activities. So can you compare them if you went into the weight room and said, we're going to take an offensive lineman and we're going to take a shot putter and we're going to put them on the squat rack and we're going to do squats and see who's the strongest? Sure, you can do that. But even at that activity, they're doing it for different purposes and different strategies when they're training. And so it's really still not a true indicator of who is the best because you're training for a specific thing that's a little bit different. There's even at the minor tweak level, muscular level, it's still going to be different as far as who is stronger for the given activity. So the correlation to the average person then becomes, well, if I'm not training for what I want to achieve, how in the world am I going to achieve it? Right? Like the shot putter is training specifically to throw a shot put. For the guys, a 16-pound shot put, metal ball, 16 pounds. They're trying to throw it 65 to 70, 75 feet. That's a long way. So that training is very specific to that. An offensive lineman, they're training to protect the quarterback, right? So it's how do I make sure that the person that's coming at me doesn't get past me? And so I'm working on leverage. I'm working on a bunch of different things, right? They're training specifically for that so they can achieve their goal. The average person, statistics show us the average person does not train for their goals. They assume that they're going to hit their goals just by going through the motions of their day. And they get to the end of the week, they get to the end of the month, they get to the end of the year, and then they question, why did I not get where I wanted to go? And depression sits in. There's a lot of different issues that come about as far as health issues because they were dissatisfied with where they got. And the majority of the reasoning behind where they got, where they didn't achieve, but where they're sitting at, is because they didn't understand the training that's necessary to get to where they want to be. Yeah, I had one of my first jobs out of college that the boss told me. He said, there's a lot of people that come and go within 6 months or 8 months. They don't stick around because it's not the job for them, or it's not. But he said, but the problem is that you don't really understand the job until you're here at least a year to a year and a half. So if you're leaving at 6 months because you're frustrated, but you really don't know the job until a year and a half, you shortchanged yourself, right? If you give up too early, you don't understand the way the training is supposed to go, or you give up on the training too early, you're never going to get where you want to go. You see this a lot with people with their weight, with health issues, with health concerns, because they might see small movement, they might see small changes, but unfortunately, we're fed through commercials and through commercialization of the way diets are supposed to work. We're fed this idea that we're supposed to shed weight quickly. And if we can't shed weight quickly, then it's not for us. And we're just going to have to give up and go to something else, or we're just going to give up completely because it's just not meant to be. But if you think about it, the people that run in the Olympics, the people that compete in the Olympics, in any sport, they train not just a year to get to the Olympic trials and then get to the Olympics. It's not just 2 years or 3 years or 4 years from the previous Olympics to this Olympics, or 5 in this case, of the one we're going through right now. They're training their entire lives in most cases. From when they're 5, 6, 7 years old, they start in their sport. And then they're 18, 19, 25, 30 before they become an Olympian. That's a long time to train towards one goal. That's a long time to train towards one goal. Is it worth it? I think every Olympian would tell you it's absolutely worth it. But the thing you have to remember is that you shouldn't give up on your goal 6 weeks in, which statistically most people do. You shouldn't give up on your goal 6 weeks in because you didn't see enough results. If you're honest with yourself, and what I tell people that work with me as far as nutrition counseling and help with exercise and things like that I do, I tell them you may not see a difference on the scale. That's not the end all be all. Within the first 2 weeks or 4 weeks, you may not see that because your body composition is changing. And so the number on the scale is completely misleading as to what is going on within your body when you're going through changes. What you have to maintain and look at is you need to know, like, how are you feeling? Are you sleeping better? Are you happier? Are you more energetic? Like, you have to maintain a log on all these things and understand that as those changes happen, the rest of your body is changing internally because your cells are living that. And so the training that takes place as you go through those steps is extremely important to maintain and continue and not give up on. And you'll hear the stories. Every Olympian is there, and I could almost guarantee you every single Olympian there is struggled through something, whether it's an injury, whether it's a setback, whether it's a depressive moment, whether it's not performing as well as they thought they would in a certain competition leading up to the Olympics. Every single one of them has had some sort of issue that they've had to overcome, and they didn't give up. And that's what I'm going to charge you with as you're listening is you've got those issues that come up. You've got those obstacles. Don't give up. Don't give up on the goal that you've set for yourself. It takes time. It takes effort. It's a training process. Life is a journey. And to get where you want to go, it's going to take time. It's going to take time, and it's going to take effort. And it's going to take discipline to stick to the things that you know you need to be doing to be able to get the results that you want. So when it comes to your health, that means if a plan is not showing you exactly what you want to see, if you're paying somebody for that plan, talk to them, make sure they understand the issues that you're feeling, and let them adjust the plan. But don't give up on the plan. The plan can be adjusted, but don't give up on the plan. If you're doing a plan on your own, sit down and look at it and understand that here's where I started, here's where I am, this is where I want to go, It's not going to necessarily be a quick and easy 1, 2, 3 straight line, done. It's going to have twists and turns and ups and downs, and you're going to go through so many different valleys and peaks along the way. The important thing is to stick to it, because you cannot get to the goal if you give up. That's like, you just can't. You can't get to the goal if you give up. So don't give up. Find a plan that works for you and stick to it. And know that it's worth it. It's worth it to make the healthy changes. It's worth it to understand that being healthy is more important than anything else in this world. Because if you're not healthy, you're not going to be as helpful to anybody else as you could be. You're not going to be as helpful to your family, your friends, your coworkers, your company, your employees. If you're not healthy, you cannot be as helpful as you could be if you were healthy. So stick to it. You can do it. You can make it. Yes, it's hard. Yes, there's times where you don't want to do it, but it's worth it. It's worth it. So only you, though, just like looking at the shot putter versus the offensive lineman, that comparison can kill you. Only you can shut out that comparison factor and go and say, this is my life. I'm going to live it the way I need to live it. And I'm going to do this plan the way I need to do it. And it's going to take the time that it takes me to do it. Don't compare yourself to your neighbor, your coworker, your spouse, your parents. Don't compare yourself to anybody else. You have to do it on your timeline. You have to do it the way your body tells you have to do it. And you need to do it for the reasons that you want to do it. So don't worry about the comparison. Go out there, do your best. You can make the changes to be healthy. And when you do, you're going to be able to compound that, because once you start seeing results, it's going to be easy to continue that as long as you're measuring the right things. So go out there and make a change in your life for the better. Because when you do that, you're going to make a change in somebody else's life. But the bigger thing is that when you do that, you're going to be more confident. You're going to be happier. And you're going to be an inspiration to people. So go out there, make a change, and inspire some people. Thanks for checking out the All in Health and Wellness Confidence Through Health podcast. Our goal is to use health as a conduit to help you reach your goals in life.
A little lighter than me. I'm about to black out. Her grip is getting tighter on me. I think I like it deep inside. I feel the fire in me. She like the milky, see me creaming to the coffee to me. She got soul in her sway.